Bobby, speaking of being burned and staying in the NFC East, you're down.
Oh,
You're
God.
all right. You're Dallas Cowboys, man. Talk to me. I mean, it
Yes.
is it as bad as it looks, or did they actually
So
get a
no,
little bit
the
better
only
with
thing I
all the
can say is we
restructuring that they
actually
had to
signed a
do?
running back. I mean, that's one positive. We signed Javonte Williams, which is an underrated signing. I kind of like Javonte Williams. He showed a little bit of gas with the Broncos before he got hurt. Um, no, it's the same shit every single year, and it's been the same shit for the past 4 years. We've literally had the same show every year for the past 4 years, an off-season breakdown of free agency, and every single year I get on here and I'm pissed about the fact that we would do absolutely fucking nothing. And it's Jerry Jones. That's what it boils down to. Jerry Jones, until he gets his stake off this team, there's nothing that we can do about it because we're gonna be selectively aggressive, which means sign no one and not address any of our needs for the entire first 5 to 10 days of free agency until everyone's off the board.
Well, so what would you say? What were
So
the biggest
offensive
needs for the
line,
Cowboys going into free agency? In your opinion?
defensive line. I would love a second wide
Okay.
receiver and obviously a running back.
So, all right. So they signed Solomon Thomas, defensive tackle, 2 years, $8 million.
He's all right. Yeah, he's all right.
So he's a big boy. That should be okay. They signed Rob Jones, offensive lineman, 1 year, $4.75 million. Not a big splash, but they did get better on defense. They not like. Don't you like Tyler Elam?
So they're
and
former
Kenneth Murray?
first round picks,
Like,
and they didn't
aren't
give
those
up
trades
much to
for
get
you?
him. But this is what they do. They invest a little bit of money or a little bit in guys that they liked 5, 6 years ago, and they try and fill in spots like that instead of actually making big splashes. And it's just like every single year they do the same exact thing. Just like them once to just actually go out and be aggressive and fill some of these needs. I mean, you look at DeMarcus Lawrence left us. So great, we lost. We gained Alice, but we lose DeMarcus Lawrence. You know what I mean? So it's just the same thing every single year. I mean, even from the signing of Schottenheimer, you know what I mean? It's just filling holes with guys that just do not inflate my positivity of this team moving forward. I'm sorry. It's not an exciting answer. It's not a fun answer, but it's just.
Don't apologize to us. I wouldn't be very fucking high. The thing is like it's all I can think about when I think about you and your Dallas Cowboys, and I feel like a team. Doing this show by its very merit makes us follow all of each other's teams like more closely, right? Like we're all just keeping an eye on the topics that come up the most, I think, and it makes watching the game more fun because it gives me so much perspective and context on the Cowboys, the Patriots, and your rivalries therein. So it gives us a solid, deeper understanding, I think, of like what the NFL is and all its eccentricities and intricacies. But I think on a fundamental level, the place that I would never, ever, ever want to be is quarterback on a franchise contract that isn't the dude. And has established himself as not the dude, and he's making 150+ million. What is his contract total?
Well,
his guaranteed money's fucking stupid.
His cap hit was
restructured it to make it
$79
50.
He restructured
They
it by
restructured, I know,
54,
and that's like
something like that.
And him and Cooper, right? But
yeah, I mean, so
Yeah,
now, the
but
Cowboys now have $30 million left on the cap, which is pretty good.
but that's pretty good, and I think that they should make a signing
Thank you.
of the name Stefon Diggs or Amari Cooper or a Cooper Cup, like we talked about, would obviously be sick. Or honestly, like sleeper Tyler Lockett, always highly rated in my camp. To be honest, I really think he's a great wide receiver, and I think he'd be a real he's a great second. He's a really great second. He's got a real vibe, like he's of the T. Higgins mold, where it's like, man, what an unbelievable number 2 that would be, right? So you get, even though they play nothing like each other, but if you get Tyler Lockett, that one signing, I think, completely changes your outlook. Because then you're like, okay, well, you can start asking the question: has Dak ever really had a 1-2 punch like this? We have given him a running back to try to establish the run, so he doesn't just have to get into hero mode even though like his best games, right, Bobby, like have been him going full fucking like solo dolo commando, like just going full hero mode and like he just balling out or getting into a shootout with another QB. Like that's like really where he shines, which kind of makes me like him when that shit happens, to be totally honest with you, even though I don't. But I think that it's just that thing of like, can you Jalen Hurts him? Like, can you put him in a position to succeed despite his flaws, right? Despite his obvious flaws that teams have been able to sort of exploit, especially now knowing who he is, because you don't have a choice. Yeah, he's on that contract. And I don't know if you've seen out there what the quarterback market looks like, or the free agency part of it, at least, plus the upcoming draft. It's like, you might even want to, it's a tough spot to be, that purgatory contract with a very highly paid quarterback that's, looking like he's never going to get you to the promised land as the team gets worse around him, that he can't like fill in the gaps. But if you are able to fill in the gaps with personnel, I think you'd be holding on to Dak Prescott with dear life, looking at some of the market out there. People talk themselves into fucking Sam Darnold again. We just saw that. Like, we just saw what that is. So, you don't want to be in that position. And it's not as nice of a position as me and Mike are in, I think, because we're all optimism, regardless of like what, our 6 years from now selves are saying about this conversation, like a la Mac Jones making the Pro Bowl year one. But it's not such a terrible thing. Yeah, right. I know, with an asterisk. It's not such a terrible thing to think, at least we got our guy in a sense, with heavy sort of air quotes around it. So if we put him in a position to succeed with, like you said, addressing admittedly a lot of holes.
Well, so
it could be worse, I guess. I'm just trying to put a spin
when he had
on it.
Amari and CD back in the day, and that was the best that we've seen Dak play. I think they went 13-3 that year, won the division. Dak was, I think, top 3 MVP.
But even CD and Brandon Cooks 2 years ago, like they went 12-5.
Yeah, so
and Brandon
if
Cooks
we can
is
get
good.
another wide receiver over here, I'd be very happy with that. I mean, CeeDee Lamb literally he can't do it all. He can't do it all.
I think that Tyler Lockett is a different dynamic, but
no.
Yeah, I mean, you just double team him every time. You need it too, And I think that him and Amari is a pretty apt comparison, but I also think you'll admit there was a little bit of a 1-1A issue with those two guys, right? Where it's like, as much as you'll never turn down having those two guys at the exact same time, there was issues that you ran into where it was like, you can tell one guy's pissed that you're not looking his way. Then because they're sort of 1-1A, it's an embarrassment of riches to the point where like Dak, I feel like at moments and key moments in playoff moments was second guessing himself on like who to go to, where to go. It's almost like you have too many options, when you get the ball and you have too much time. So you don't just fucking put it away. You fuck up because you have too much time to think. I really think him having a 1-2 punch like this, where he goes and gets, I mean, strangely enough, even an Amari Cooper of now that would come back and accept that role, right? I think that would be a thing. A Stefon Diggs, same thing, but a true number 2, a lifetime sort of number 2 in Tyler Lockett is a position I really don't think Dak has ever been in. And I think that would like help him, because Dak could be, I mean, a lot of quarterbacks would. So just bear with me when I make this point. Dak could be great in Buffalo. He'd be great in Buffalo because I really think Dak could be a great, like, I have 3 to 4 really good guys instead of I have 1 really great guy. Because he might be too kind of a nice of a guy where he's like really always trying to get CD his touches. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of not, it's like, he doesn't really do the Dak Prescott show in that, but he does kind of let CeeDee Lamb like dictate that shit. And like, at the end of the day, if you just gave him if you just, like it happened to Josh Allen, right? Like when Stefon Diggs left and everybody's just sort of like the floor rose and you brought the ceiling down a little bit. I don't think that Dak is Josh Allen. I'm sorry, Bobby, but it did happen to him where it was like, it's more about you and the scheme now, right? It's way more about you and the scheme and the decisions you make. And I think that would benefit Dak tremendously. Does that mean trade CeeDee Lamb? Absolutely not. But getting him options in those second, third, and fourth reads, and you're going to have to block for him. That's really the issue. Yeah, I don't think Tyler Lockett's going to solve all your problems. I'm not saying that, but I really do think it would cheer you up.
100%. Bobby, Bobby, do you know that the last time that the Cowboys signed a free agent and paid him more than $6 million a year? Do you know who it was?
No, who was it? Oh my God! The throw the girl on the bed of guns guy. Nice. Stand up. Yep.
Stand up guy.
Yeah.
You know what was great about Greg Hardy is he had the decency to go to the UFC and let us all watch him get knocked out like 17 times. So that was really decent of him because he was a real piece of shit. That guy.
Where'd you get that stat? That's a nugget right there.
All right.
That was a good stat.
I saw it on Instagram today. I was like, I have verified it's true. I'm like that. So they do pay their own players more than $6 million a year when they're up. But the last free agent signing that paid more than $6 million was Greg Hardy, and I was like, I forgot he was even on the fucking team.
He was a beast.
He was a beast for those 9 games he played for the Cowboys, though.